If I'm here, everything is here. Now you were thinking, what kind of a Baal Gaiva says something like this? He tells about Simchat Bet HaShoeva. He says, when he was Simchat Bet HaShoeva, he says, Ani po hakol po. He says, if I'm here, Ani, what is, but he's talking about Ani. Hillel is also the one who said, Ani olech ligmol chesed im aluva. When he went to eat, he said, I'm going to go do gmilut chasadim with the miserable one, b'nefsha behemit. When Hillel talked about Ani, he talked about himself, talked about his nefesh elokit. So he went to eat because the guf, the nefesh behemit, the body has to eat. So he says, I'm going to go do gmilut chasadim with the miserable body so that he'll survive. But that's not me, that's my nefesh behemit. Right. So when Hillel says, Im ani po, akol po, Ani of the Reb Hillel, let's talk about his nefesh elokit.
Because that's really everything.
And he says, if my nefesh elokit is here, then atzmut ein sof is here. And everything is here. And this is why the Braita in Sanhedrin says, Chayav Adam lomar, bishvili nivra ha'olam, that the world was created for me. But that's not for me. The nefesh behemit doesn't say that.
Right.
Because the continuation of the Braita is, Va'ani lo nivreti ela leshamesh et koni. I was not created only to serve my master.
So you don't think that's only when people
say... It says,
Va'ani
lo nivreti. I was not created. I'm in existence. I'm only here to serve my master. But my whole metziut, who I am, is just to serve my master. This is connected very good, actually, to Shara Bitachon.
So that's my main dilemma right now. You know, sort of helped me figure it out, but about Eliyahu Navi and Shalom Ba'olam and Moshiach.
He wants to talk about Moshiach.
You know, people also Mashiach's not the end goal. You know. People think it's like that's their end goal is Mashiach.
Yeah.
It's Olam Haba. That's the end goal. You know. It's Ali Day Mashiach, but it's not. Your end goal is not Mashiach, man.
No.
Your main goal is not just to learn Torah, dude.
The end goal is now.
Right, but I'm saying, like, what are you doing the now for, man?
So, it's even higher than Olam Haba. When you're talking about Olam Haba, you're talking about the Rambam's Olam Haba, which is about Tchiyat HaMetim. Yeah, you're talking about Tchiyat HaMetim.
Talking about the second year.
However, okay, so here's something interesting, okay? At the end of Torah Or, on the Parshat Noach, now the first Maimer, in Torah Or, in Parshat Noach, he has 4 words. It says, "V'tkafya meviyah letchiyat hametim." I don't know. It talks about the fact that the worries of parnasa in this world bring a Jew to a much higher level than learning Torah of any mitzvot can do. Because through worrying about the parnasa, and the parnasa originally come from the rapach nitzutzim of tohu that fell into this physical world, and when a Jew is working and toiling with the matter, with the physical material world, he is elevating the rapach nitzutzot back up to their source, and by doing that, he's actually drawing from a much higher level than where the Torah comes from. Torah comes from the Olam HaTikun, and it's higher than the level of where his neshama originally came. And then it says, "Itkafya mavi letchiyat hametim." The tchiyat hametim is brought by a Jew doing itkafya. What does it mean by itkafya brings to tchiyat hametim? So the simple meaning is that if you really have to understand the secret of the rapach nitzutzot, it talks about the 8 primordial kings in Kabbalah who died. You heard about them? You heard about the rapach nitzutzot, obviously. We talked here many times about the mekifim, the orot mekifim, the tohu. You heard about tohu and tikkun?
Yeah.
So when we're talking about the orot of tohu, we're talking there about the rapach nitzutzot. And the rapach nitzutzot, the 288 sparks that fell into this world, and they are the source of the material world. Now in the Bereshit, when it talked about the rapach nitzutzot, it's Parashat Vayishlach. It's talking about the 8 primordial kings of Edom. Ve'elu hamlachim asher malchu be'Edom lifnei meloch melech lebnei Israel. These are the kings who ruled in Edom before a king ruled for the children of Israel. The Kabbalah explains these 8 kings are the primordial levels of Tohu that fell into this very mixed up with this world and are the source of the physical material world. Now, so there's 2 points over here to be made. The one point is Tohu and Tikkun. The parallel point to this is Yaakov and Esav, which Esav is the source, is the father of Edom, and Edom is the father of Christianity, and Christianity is the father of the Western world. So you have the Jews in the Western world, Yaakov and Esav, and the highest level of Tohu fell in Esav, in Tohu, into this Western Christian world, and the 2,000 years of exile since we went into this exile was the birth of Christianity. And Christianity came to the Roman Empire, who destroyed the temple, through the kingdom of Edom. And this is why the Ramban and other Mefarshim that explain what is Edom. Daniel, in the Sefer of Daniel, we talked about the 4 animals that correspond to the 4 galuyot, the 4 exiles of the Jewish nations. And Daniel said that the 4th animal was a horrible animal, and he saw no end to it. He didn't see the end of it. And this corresponds to this last exile of 2,000 years, and this was the exile of Edom. Why? Because Rome was the one who destroyed the Beit HaMikdash. And if you think all of Western culture had its root in Rome, and Rome adopted Christianity, and that's why the Ramban and all of the Mefarshim says that Edom was continuing the path of Christianity. Ishmael, on the other hand, which is the Muslim world, and we have in Acharit HaYamim, the Midrashim and the Gemarot, like in Masechta Yoma, Daf Yud Amud Beis, and in all the places in the Zohar and the Midrashim that talk about the wars of Acharit HaYamim, at the end of the days, these wars are between Ishmael and Edom. Ishmael and Edom are the 2 sides of that are fighting with each other by Acharit HaYamim. But why are they doing this? The secret, the mystical secret to understand it, begins with the fall of the Rapach Nitzotzot. The Nitzotzot that came from Tohu, which is true in our personal life. Every day we have the same process of exile and redemption. That when we go to sleep, it's an aspect of exile, and our neshama comes back in the morning, and we give it over, Modeh Ani Lefanecha, and we go to Tfilat Shacharit, and in Tfilat Shacharit we're rectifying our own structure of Tikkun, and then we're going out into the world where the Nitzotzot of Tohu fell to rectify them. And that's why the Tirdot HaParnasah and the Jews' work in the Western world and in the material world is doing it to elevate the sparks that fell from Tohu. Now, these 8 kings that fell, on each one of those kings it says, Vayimloch Vayamot, Vayimloch Vayamot, Vayimloch Vayamot. He ruled and he died, and he ruled and he died. This is the mystical process of the breaking of the vessels of Tohu, that again became the source of this world. And this breaking of the vessels is when you have it's described as death. Physical death in this world also came from that. From that breaking of the vessels in Tohu, it's also where physical death came. And that's why by the refinement of the Melachim of Tohu, we are bringing Tchiyat HaMetim to the Melachim of Tohu. And when we complete the refinement of the 288 sparks, we will remove death from the world in general. And that will bring to Tchiyat HaMetim. So all of the process of the Geulah and Tchiyat HaMetim have to do with the process of the refinement of the 288 sparks, the Rapach Nitzotzot. Now furthermore, and I told you that these 288 sparks fell with the Melachim of Edom. This particularly fell in Edom. This is why in Parashat Vayishlach, Yaakov and Esav came together. And Yaakov he knew that the sparks of Tohu fell in the portion of Esav. And that's why he wanted to elevate Esav, because to bring the Geulah, Yaakov and Esav have to come together. Yaakov got the Torah. And Yaakov's mission, since that moment, was to be mevarer, to refine Esav, and by doing so, return these sparks to their root.
So Esav has a chilek in the
That's right. Which means the Christian world has a chilek in the Geulah. But after the refinement of the 288 sparks, after refinement and sifting through the truth and the lies.
I heard also Jesus has
One second. Yaakov was ready to receive those lights then. Esav wasn't ready. And that's what started out this whole process. And you'll still bother me, how do you make this job from Esav to the Christian world? Your question is not on me, the question is on the Ramban and on the other Mefarshim. We can talk about this other places where Ishtalshalut of the Dvarim, that what we refer to Edom became the Roman Empire and became the Western Christian world. If you look at all the history, the world is talking about the end of days, 2012. The world is coming to an end.
The beginning.
The world that they're coming to an end is a world that started in the year 0, when the destruction of the temple. Our exile was the beginning of their world. Western world was born with the destruction of the second temple and the exile of the Jewish people. Our Geulah is the Geulah of the entire world, but it's the end of the world of darkness of the 2,000 years.
It's funny they say that.
One of the processes, by the way, if you look at the 2,000 years and you look at the world history, European history and Western history especially, during these 2,000 years, And by extension, you can also look at the history of the Eastern world, of Ishmael and Edom and everything. You'll notice Ishmael didn't change much. Edom, Christian world, changed. It went from the Dark Ages, which is total darkness. Life was totally worthless. Morality was non-existent. Later Middle Ages started the Crusades, but their vision of God was was based on the church. It was very false. It was full of lies. It was political. It was murderous. It was immoral.
Official, but for
then all of a sudden comes the Renaissance, 14th century, 15th century, around the time of the Exile, when he started revealing the Chokhmah of the Kabbalah. He says this was already the dawn of the sixth day. This was already preparing for this process of refinement. You're seeing in the Renaissance the developments of arts, in wisdom. And then we find a critical point about 300 years ago is where the Western world stopped believing in God. Until the 1700s, until the 18th century, which is the Industrial Revolution, everybody believed in God. And they would kill in God's name, and they would do everything else. But to believe in God was an obvious thing. Of course there's a God in the world. Along with the Industrial Revolution, a positive thing happened. The world started coming of age with the Haskalah movement within the Jewish world, but also within the non-Jewish world. As more and more people discovered about the natural phenomena that govern the universe, they stopped believing in God. That was a big error because somehow it escaped us that God's involvement of the world, again, they did not know the secrets of the Torah. So they didn't see that the fact that there's a natural phenomena, that there's metaphysical and supernatural phenomena that's guiding the rules of natural phenomena. And above that, there's a level that's higher than natural, non-natural, which is spirituality. But these days people don't even care to serve God or not. No, but we're talking about mankind.
Mankind
so these last
doesn't even care
300 years now.
Most mankind don't even care about God or serving God. It doesn't make it.
Well, now, so then Nietzsche said he killed God. So then 150 years after that, Nietzsche said he killed God.
Who is that?
Nietzsche was a great philosopher, a German philosopher, who basically came and said, there's no God. And we have all logical explanation for all the phenomena. There's consciousness. And a lot of modern science came from that point. To the point today where if you go anywhere really, in America not so much, but certainly in Europe, the average person does not believe in God. They maintain some religious customs, but they don't really believe in God. This is a good thing. This was the end of the idolatrous God. Now, as science and technology fuse with the Chokhmah of Kabbalah and the secrets of the Torah to really know God, this is the beginning of the human race, beginning this new era and this new age, which is the beginning of the days of Moshiach, which will lead to Tchiat HaMetim. This is all because of these 288 sparks that were refined. And our human evolution and intellectual evolution and scientific revolution and industrial revolution and information revolution until where we are today and further is all the process of refinement of the 288 sparks. Until 1991, when the Rebbe says the sparks were refined already. They were already elevated. So we'll talk about some other time.
So you